Hey everybody, Shawn Holsinger here from holsingersforeyeshop.com, bringing you another tying video this week, and this week it's a soft hackle pattern. And this is one I'm getting ready for our annual trip to Kettle Creek, and I haven't got to make it in the last couple years because I've been guiding. And this year I'm taking a day or two off of guiding to make sure I get to get up there and fish Kettle Creek, because I haven't got to do it the last couple years, and I really missed out. So anyways, when I go up there, it's a big freestone stream. I like to cover a lot of water when I'm fishing big freestone streams like that, and I like to swing wet flies a lot. And this is what I'm tying to take up there with me. It's a March Brown style pattern, more of a generic style March Brown. Gonna imitate a couple different things up there, and more or less a searching pattern. So I'm just going to have some fun tying this one, show you some techniques, and hope you really like this pattern because I like it a lot and I'm looking forward to fishing it up there. So let's get into tying it. Here you're going to see a picture of the fly and then the material list to tie it. Okay, here you can see this great looking pattern in the vise. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a Daiichi. This is a 1260 size 12. And I'm just going to put that in the vise there and start tying. For thread, I'm using Semperfli Nano Silk. This is brown, and I'm just going to start it on and I'm going to wrap it back there. And I am going to wrap this back, to the hook point, and that's where I'm going to tie this fly. So I'm tying it on a 3x long shank, but I'm not using the whole shank to tie it. You see, normally I'm going to tie back and I'm going to go to about where the barb is on the fly. This one I'm going to keep up a little bit forward. I just like the hook. I like this hook for this fly. Next thing I'm going to put on is the tail, and I'm going to use this is Mallard dyed wood duck. And I'm going to pull off about a hook gap's width, which is about 10 or 15 fibers there. And I'm going to try to get the curve going upward, and I'm going to hold them on top of the hook, and wrap that back to that hook point like I showed you there. That's good. It's going straight off the back. I'm fine with that. If you can get it curl up a little bit, it looks great. There you go. And we're just going to wrap that down on the hook shank there. Next thing, we're going to cut our butt section off, and I'm going to put a piece of Brassie gold wire on here. And this is going to be my rib on the fly. Now, like I said, I'm going to fish this during the March Brown hatch, but really this is a generic style pattern, and the colors I'm going to use here to tie it really give it that generic look. It's going to cover a couple different patterns. So next thing I'm going to put on is this is some UV Tracer Squirrel Dub in Natural Gray Squirrel. And I really like any kind of Squirrel Dub, to be honest. It's just buggy looking. You get a couple of the guard hairs sticking out every now and then. I like working with this stuff. So I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to keep it thin. Oops, a little bit thicker there than I wanted. I don't want to get too thick. We don't want an obese fly. I want just a touch more on there. And I want to go about 2/3 of the hook shank that I used up. So from where my tail ends to the eye, I want to cover about 2/3 of that area. There we go. Nice, even, uniform taper going up through there. Now I'm going to counter rib my gold wire through here, and if you counter rib, it tends to not sink in as much as if you don't counter rib it. Counter rib meaning the opposite direction that you wrap the dub on. So I'm going to wrap that down 5 or 6 wraps and then twist it off. Now I'm going to come in with some Davy Wooten's SLF Squirrel Dub blends. This is brown olive here that I'm using now. And I'm just going to build up a little ball right here with this. It's not going to take a whole lot of it, but I just want it to transition from that gray to the brown olive. Give it a different colored abdomen and thorax. And I want it to be a little bit thicker than the gray squirrel dub there, but I don't want it to be fat. So I want it to transition nicely. You can see how it's just slightly thicker, but it's not that much bigger. Last thing I'm going to use is this is a grouse skin here I have. And these are feathers on the back of the skin. I'm going to pick one of these off. There you can see you got a nice hackle here. I'm going to pull all the fluff off the bottom. Pull all the fluff off. Then I'm going to grab the tips and I'm going to pull the tip out. So I'm going to separate like you see there. And I'm going to tie down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this with the bottom side of the feather on top of the hook. And I'm just going to make a couple wraps and tie that point down. Whoops. There we go. Tie that point down like that, and then we're going to cut the butt sections off. Get them out of the way, and I'm going to come in with my hackle pliers and start wrapping that around. And as I wrap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tease all these fibers backwards, and then I'm going to take my time and make nice side-by-side wraps right here. And as I do that, I'm just going to keep teasing these feathers back so they all go the direction I want. And I'm just going to wrap that right up to the eye. And when I get it wrapped up to the eye, we're going to tie it off. I usually tie about 3 wraps to tie it off and then cut the shaft off there. And then I'm going to come in and make a nice clean head here. Just making sure I hold all the fibers back so they go the way I want them. Make a nice tidy head on there and whip finish it off. So I like this Nano silk because it's going to put a head on it, but it's not going to be a big huge head. A lot of times I tie with 140 denier and it makes a big huge head because it's twice the well, it's actually like almost 3 times the thickness of this thread. So I can make a nice neat little head on there. Trim it off, and then I'm going to pull the fibers back again, and I'm just going to take a little bit of Solarez Bone Dry here. And holding them fibers back, hit it with my light. And that'll keep them teased back the direction I want it there like that. And there you go, a very nice little generic soft hackle that's going to catch you fish. Okay guys, I hope you like that simple pattern. You can really change up the colors on this. You know, you could tie a sulfur like this if you wanted to. Just change the colors to match the sulfur color. And this is a great way to tie a sulfur. Obviously downsize it. You know, you're going to fish the sulfurs in 14s and 16s and even 18s at the end of the hatch in my area. But downsize this. This is just a plain old generic fly meant to imitate a lot of different things. Tie it in different colors to match the fly that's coming off in your area at that time. Have fun tying, and any of the materials, like always guys, you can find them at our shop at holsingersflyshop.com. Until next week when I bring you another fly tying video, I'm Shawn Holsinger.